This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And welcome into The Onside Kick, your one-stop shop here on Most Valuable Podcast for all the greatest football news and analysis. And we got a jam-packed show, Mark, but before we get into the show, what do I have to do? I got to do some housekeeping.
Yeah, clean that house.
This is what we're going to do. Are we cleaning the house or are we keeping the house? We're going to clean it. And the first thing, patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. Link down below in the description. If you like what we're doing here, want to help us do more things, want to help keep these lights on, give us a buck or two. However, if you can't, you still get all of our content for free. However, if you want to be like Patrick, who's going to be on the show tonight, then you can be on the show. That is all down below in the Patreon link in the description. Second off, if you're on iTunes, you're listening to us on iTunes, you have an iTunes account, please give the Onside Kick a succulent 5-star rating on iTunes, and then do the same for the Primetime Podcast, the Rick and Johnny Podcast, and the Fast Break. It would mean the world to us. And then finally, I'm not wearing it today, Mark, but we are selling MVP t-shirts. If you want your own MVP t-shirt, want to let the world know that you listen to Most Valuable Podcasts, you like Most Valuable Podcasts, that and those directions down below in the description as well.
About that, the first MVP t-shirts will be going out.
Yes, they will.
This week.
Yes, they will. So you got to get your hands on it. You already missed it. You're not going to be the first. You can still be one of the first, like Mark just said.
Invoice 00001 has gone out. So,
but you can be 0002.
Yes.
Right?
Not shirt number 2, but yeah.
Yeah, you invoice number 2. Yeah. That's what you could be.
You could be the second person to pay for it.
That is down below in the description. But Mark, jam-packed show. We're looking at some NFL playoff news because 2 weeks left in the NFL season. We're talking playoffs? And we're going to look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Could they make a run in the playoffs? Then we're going to have Patrick, one of our patrons, on. He's going to want to talk about the Chicago Bears and the head coaching situation that is going to go on in Chicago probably this offseason. And Black Monday, I'm assuming John Fox gets the call that he's been fired. Then we're going to end the show with some more coaching talk, talking about the Cowboys and answering the question of, should Jason Garrett be fired by the Dallas Cowboys? We're going to answer that question later in the show, and then we're going to end everything by making our picks. But let's start NFL playoffs. The Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is a team, I was just looking on our channel. We love to talk about the Jaguars. Not only did we do the preview 4 months ago, not only did we also do the predictions 4 months ago, 2 months ago, Brandon and I, during your vacation, had the segment of how serious should we be taking the Jaguars. I was all over them. And then half a year ago, me and you discussed, is it finally time to believe in the hype with Jacksonville? This is a team, 10 wins right now, and if chaos ensues in these next 2 weeks, they could be a first-round bye team. So I'm going to ask you this, whether they are the third, whether they are the second seed, whether they are the fourth, fifth, or sixth, I'm going to ask you this. Can the Jaguars make a run in the playoffs?
You know, the interesting thing about the Jaguars, we say it in the and this was our big kind of theme for them in the offseason was every year they look great on paper, and every year we always wonder, is this it? Is this going to be it? You know, ever since kind of Blake Bortles has shown up in 2014, and we're kind of finally
shown up
it.
by being drafted, not by playing.
Yeah, that was in 2015 that he actually threw for 4,400 yards. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are this interesting team where they have this amazing run game, the best run game you can have. They've got this great defense, the best defense you can have in the NFL. They have pretty good passing attack, not amazing, but it's been good enough, really, really helped by the running game. You know, Blake Bortles is Blake Bortles, so and I don't want to insult anybody who's a fan of him. This has been a good year for him. He's never going to be the most accurate passer. He will always probably throw a good amount of interceptions. This year has been amazing, Blake Bortles standards for interceptions. The way it stands right now, he threw half as many interceptions this year as he did the year prior. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are in a really good shape right now. Should we buy into them? Yes. I do think we should. And the reason I say that is because I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are a better team than the Tennessee Titans, than the Buffalo Bills, than quite potentially the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that this Jaguars defense destroys the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
You think so?
I think the Kansas City Chiefs would stand no chance against this defense. And Leonard Fournette, I'm going to put him above Kareem Hunt. The problem that the Jacksonville Jaguars have, and the flip side of that is they're not better than the Steelers. They're not better than the Patriots.
However, and this is the thing I wanted to bring up, and this wasn't the big thing, but it was one of the things of, so they've beaten the Steelers already. However, that was the kind of, I'm going to call it the anomaly game of Big Ben threw 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
Obviously,
because it's a great defense. Let's not take away from the Jaguars.
But that's not going to happen again if they play, right? He's not going to throw 5 INTs. He might throw 1 or 2 in a bad game if he has one, but we're not going to see a 0 for 5 performance from Big Ben.
It's pretty rare that any quarterback throws 5 interceptions.
Unless it's like Drew Brees, Matt Ryan style.
Yeah.
Where they're just chucking the ball, and it's like, well, they're bound to happen.
Eventually, I'm going to get someone who can catch it. Now, the flip side of the Steelers is, Antonio Brown's got to be healthy. And I know there's some injury concerns with him from the game against the Patriots. Now, the big thing that matters for Jacksonville when I'm looking at them is what's going to happen these next couple weeks. Because it really depends. I mean, if they get a first-round bye, that's the best situation possible, because then they're probably going to face a team they can beat. In the wild card round, like I said, I think they're better than the Chiefs, the Titans, the Bills. I think they're probably...
Well, they're going to play the Titans week 17 too.
Yeah, so we'll really get a good answer to that question right there when they have that, because that essentially is going to be playoff round 1 for these teams. You want to get that upper edge, especially because the Titans might be competing for a spot.
Yeah.
The Ravens are right there with them. The Chargers are not far off either. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars can beat any of these teams below them. So that's why I think seeding is really going to matter. They want to make sure they have an easier road in.
Well, and the interesting thing for the Jaguars, and I want to throw this out there, is right now they're the 3 seed as we record this podcast on Tuesday. However, their next 2 games, the next game that they're playing against this week, not saying it's a for sure loss, but Jimmy Garoppolo don't lose. Jimmy Garoppolo, when he starts, he don't lose games, Mark. He is
not
undefeated.
In San Francisco.
So there is a possibility you lose 1 game, and then the Chiefs and Titans could jump you based off of tiebreakers, but there could be a chance that
you'd have to lose 2 games for either one of those teams.
However, but if you lose that one, the big one then is the Titans, because you play them week 17, you lose that game, and you lose 2 to end it, then you're no longer the division champion. You are now a 5th and 6th seed and have to go on the road that wild card week.
But let's not get too excited about the Titans. They got to play the Rams this week.
No, I know. I'm just saying, if let's say the Titans can't win it, there's that possibility. And the only reason why I'm hoping the Titans beat the Rams, and that I wouldn't mind if the Jaguars lost, because right now I was looking at the week 17 games, and we're probably going to have a week 17 where it's none of these games matter because the playoffs are all locked up.
Potentially, but there's a lot of
we
teams
could get that.
A lot of teams sitting at 8 and 6 right now, 7-7 in the AFC.
It all depends on what we're going to get in week 16. But the Jaguars, the thing I wanted to bring up is, you mentioned it. Right now, Blake Bortles is having a great season. Reason why? He's not turning over the football. In the last few games that they have played, no interceptions. 3-0 against the Texans. 2-0 against the Seahawks. 2-0 against the Colts. He's not throwing. The last time he went 0 for 1 was the Arizona loss. Was the last interception. He didn't have a touchdown. The thing that this season is reminding me of a little bit, there are some differences. I think the defense is a lot better for this Jacksonville team, but the team I'm going to compare them to, I'm comparing them to the Cowboys of last year. Quarterback played well. Obviously, Dak a lot better skill-wise than Blake Bortles this year. However, Blake Bortles is just doing what he has to do. And you could even say Blake Bortles has been doing well enough because it's like, I don't care if this receiver gets injured, that receiver gets injured, I'll throw to backups. Yeah. And I'm still getting the job done. But the big thing that is the main link in the offense is they both have primetime running backs. Zeke last year, rookie year. Fournette having a phenomenal rookie year this year. But the big reason why I feel like they are in the position they are now, and I don't want to say this taking anything away from the Jaguars, but you got to look at it. Last year, the Cowboys were, 13-3 during the regular season. Their strength of schedule was a 4-6-5. Right now, if you look at tankathon.com, the strength of schedule for Jacksonville is a 4-20. So, I mean, I kind of look at it and go, yes, you've been playing well, but really, shouldn't you be in this situation because your strength of schedule hasn't been as tough as what we've seen with other teams?
Yeah, and I think that, the strength of schedule certainly is going to help and could potentially inflate some stats. But I think you mentioned a good thing with the injuries. This is a team that, if they are going to make an impact in the playoffs,
got to be healthy.
They have to be healthy. And right now, with Leonard Fournette and his quad injury, that kills the team. I mean, that defense will still be there, but Blake Bortles is not going to function the way Blake Bortles needs to function if he doesn't have a solid run game. And I think that's the caveat that I guess I should have gotten to before. But this is a team where if Leonard Fournette is not there in the playoffs, and I don't really see why he wouldn't be, he's got plenty of time to rest. I can't see them really going anywhere. I can see them stopping the opponent from scoring and it being like a 9-3, 9-6 win or something like that. But I just can't imagine them actually really doing very much if Fournette's not there. Now, they won this past week without him, so they got that. But a big test will be against San Francisco because San Francisco's been pretty tough against the run, especially lately. So that'll be interesting to have these backups have to go up against a team that has a good run-stop ability.
Well, and I think the big thing when it comes to, I want to jump to the playoffs. Let's say they do have Fournette back for the sake of argument. The thing that right now, if they do win their final two, like, I'll be honest, they should be favored against the 49ers, should be favored against the Titans. Not saying that means if de facto they're going to win, but they should be the favorite in those. Let's say they do win both of them. They stick at the 3 seed. The big thing is, like, if you are then the Jaguars, is like you said, let's go off of what you were saying. They play the Buffalo Bills right now. I think they can beat the Bills. I think there's no problem they beat the Bills in Jacksonville. The only problem I have is, can you beat the other two teams ahead of you? And I know Jacksonville fans are going to say, but Ricky, you said we already beat the Steelers. Not a problem. We got them. However, the second time a team sees you could be a little bit different than the first time. They could see things, okay, this is what we're going to do. However, the thing I want to go with is, just for the sake of argument, let's say they do beat the Steelers again. The thing is, can this team can they not just beat one of these teams potentially? Could they beat both the Steelers and the Patriots? Like, there's a potential of, if you're Jacksonville, there's a potential where you have to go on that run because let's be honest. Let's say right now the 3 and 4 seeds win in the AFC. Jaguars would have to play the Steelers. Chiefs would have to play the Patriots. And except for this year, week 1, the Patriots have had anybody's number.
Yeah.
Except the Ravens in some certain playoff situations.
Fun fact that we'll give credit to, the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Patriots once this year. It was in the preseason. It was week 1.
So when Tom Brady was wearing his Ugg boots on the sideline.
It doesn't matter. But it happened. We'll give you credit for it. I really think that, I don't want to take away anything from Jacksonville's defense because they deserve a win against the win against the Steelers that they had, because getting 5 interceptions from any quarterback is a big deal. I don't want to take that away.
Especially one like Big Ben.
Yeah, but the flip side of it was they had the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though they started okay, their first 5 games they were 3-2 before they went on this really, really long win streak. It wasn't a great start for them.
You're talking about for Jacksonville.
No, for the Steelers.
Oh, okay.
The Steelers' start wasn't amazing.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing for Jacksonville.
No, that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is the Steelers' start wasn't amazing. They are a team that has gone on a big run now. They are a team that is used to the playoffs.
So they're a different team than you saw before.
Exactly. It's the same thing that I said a while ago about the Seattle Seahawks of who cares what they're doing, in September. Let's see them play in December and November.
I'm going to use the same thing. I'm going to just throw this at you devil's advocate style. You could say the same thing for the Jaguars because before the bye...
To an extent, but you can't say the same thing because the Jaguars are not a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers who perennially go to the playoffs.
The only thing I'm playing devil's advocate here is before their bye in Week 8, cue the Ricky Widmer joke of, they'll win the odd weeks, lose the even weeks.
Yeah.
Ever since the bye, it's been straight win except for that Cardinal game. And I'm not saying it as like the Steelers, like I get what you're saying. They've been to the playoffs. They know what to expect. Tomlin's going to coach them up for the playoffs. But this Jacksonville team, and that was one thing I was going to throw out there, it kind of goes into also of, we're playing hot right at the right time. That Cowboy team that I mentioned from last year, do you think if they got the choice and I said, hey, you can have your 2 losses I'm going to go week 3 and week 6 compared to 13 and 17, they'd take that. They'd go, you know what, we'll take our winning streak through the end of the regular season into the playoffs.
Potentially, but I think that with that being said for the Jaguars, you had to take your other point into it too of strength of schedule. Teams that they beat, the Colts, the Bengals, the Browns, the Colts, the Texans without Deshaun Watson. Yes, they beat the Seahawks in there. Yes, they beat the Chargers who are good teams as well. The only thing
devil's advocate about the Seahawks are the Seahawks the same Seahawks that we're used to.
Yeah, Seahawks are a really weird team this year. They're hard to assess.
They're a team that is getting a little old and getting a little hurt on that defense.
Yeah, they're a tough team to assess this year. They're just sitting barely out of the playoffs right now in the NFC. So I don't know how to feel about them. I think they can. I still believe that the Seahawks will sneak their way into the playoffs. But part of that's because the Lions are about to play a backup. From Green Bay, and you know how that goes for them. But anyways, Jacksonville, yes, they've been on a good run. I don't want to take that away from them, but they've played teams that they should beat. Really, the big thing for me is Tom Coughlin has whipped this team into shape. I was wrong about Doug Marrone. I really didn't trust him coming in.
But he's kind of proved people wrong and said, hey, I can be a head coach.
And I do want to give a lot of the credit to Tom Coughlin. But yeah, they've been doing everything they need to do. Like I said, this team is better than everybody below them in the seeding. I'll at least give them a chance against the Steelers. I don't think anybody in the AFC, I don't care who it is, I'm not even going to say the Steelers. I don't think anybody in the AFC currently is going to be a better team than the Patriots are right now.
And the thing I want to throw out there, and this will be my last point, is when it comes to can they make a run in the playoffs, I'm going to go back to my comparison. If we're using last year's Cowboys, because same thing, a quarterback, well, in this one, it's a quarterback that had not proven himself playing well this year. And then with the Cowboys, it was a rookie quarterback. Both have rookie running backs playing very well. Strength of schedule, not that good in the below 460s in strength of schedule. Look at the Cowboys last year. I know they had a bye, and Jacksonville may not have a bye, and that might be the one thing that kind of stirs this up. But the Cowboys, you played well in the regular season. You played a team like Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, and they knew what to do. Aaron Rodgers was phenomenal in that one, especially late on to hit that to hit Cooks going out of bounds.
Which is something you could run into with some of these better quarterbacks. But Jacksonville does have a much better defense.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that – I'm not worried about that in their first game, the wild card game, but I'm saying like a Pittsburgh. Although I am not a Mike Tomlin fan, and I think that he is not the right coach to help the Steelers win another Super Bowl.
You think his time is over?
I think his time is over. I do think, though, he will have his team coached up enough to beat the Jaguars in the playoffs, kind of like Green Bay beat Dallas last year.
I just look at the quarterbacks. This will be my last thing. Tyrod or Peterman or whoever for Buffalo, not going to beat this defense.
But what if I flip it and we put the Ravens there? Does that change anything? What if it's the Ravens into Jacksonville?
It makes it more difficult, but I still think that I'm going to get the edge to the Jaguars over Joe Flacco. Mariota, still giving the edge to the Jaguars. Alex Smith makes it a little bit more interesting. It really depends. Do we see Alex Smith versus the Patriots week 1, or do we see the Alex Smith we've seen most of this season?
Yeah.
That's the interesting part. Phillip Rivers is an interesting one. That LA Charger offense is pretty awesome. It's just Big Ben will have a harder time than Tom Brady, but yeah, those guys, I give the edge to them.
Well, and this is where I want you guys to come in. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What do you think of Jacksonville heading into the playoffs? A, where do you think they'll finish? And then B, can they make a run this playoffs? And let's say they do win the wild card. Can they beat the Steelers? Can they beat the Patriots? That's probably who they're going to have to go through if they want to get to the Super Bowl. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section.